This stitch was requested by Fiona R. on our Facebook page. To request your own stitch, email questions@newstitchaday.com. How to knit the Kitchener stitch. The Kitchener stitch is a bind-off method that is used to join two sets of live stitches. It is often used when finishing a sock because it allows the edge of your sock to look like one continuous piece of fabric. For this tutorial, you will need a set of knitting needles, a ball of yarn, and a tapestry needle or darning needle. Step 1. Divide your stitches evenly between your two needles. Make sure that you have an even number of stitches. Your needles should be parallel with each other, with the tip of the needles facing the same direction. The last stitch worked should be on the end of the back needle. Step 2. Cut your working yarn, leaving a tail that's about 2 feet long, and thread the yarn through a tapestry needle, like so. Now I've already pre-cut my yarn and I switched the color so that it'll be easier to show how the stitches worked along the stitches. Step 3. Take your tapestry needle and insert it into the first stitch on the front needle purlwise. So we'll be going this way and pull the yarn through with the needle. Tighten that down, and we're going to leave this stitch on the needle. Step 4. Insert the tapestry needle into the first stitch on the back needle knitwise and pull the yarn through. Okay, and as you're tightening your stitches down, you want to make sure that your yarn stays underneath the needles. Okay, we don't want to tighten it on over the needles. So we'll tighten this down, okay, and we're going to leave those 2 stitches on the end. Now this preps the rest of the stitch for grafting. Step 5. Take your tapestry needle and insert it into the first stitch of the front needle again. This time we're going to go knitwise. So pull that through and tighten that down, and then we're going to pull that stitch off of the needle. Okay, so drop that stitch. Step 6. Take your tapestry needle and insert it into the next stitch on the front needle going purlwise. We'll tighten that down, pull it through, and we want to leave this stitch on the needle. Step 7. Take the tapestry needle and insert it into the first stitch on the back needle again, this time going purlwise. And we'll tighten that down, make sure that your loop stays underneath the needle, and we want this stitch to come off of the needle. Step 8. Insert your tapestry needle through the next stitch on the back needle, going knitwise, and pull the yarn through. Okay, make sure that that yarn stays underneath, and we're going to tighten that down, and we'll leave this stitch on the needle. Okay, and that's the basics of the Kitchener stitch. So what we'll do is we're going to repeat steps 5 through 8 again until we get to the last 2 stitches, and then we'll bind those 2 off. So let's do that one more time. We'll start with step 5. We're going to insert the tapestry needle into the first stitch on the front needle going knitwise. Okay, pull that tight, and we want to pull this stitch off the needle. Next we're going to go into this next stitch on the main needle purlwise, through, leaving this stitch on the needle, and we'll go through the back loop purlwise. And we'll want to drop this stitch off the needle. And then the next loop on the back needle knitwise. Okay, and we'll keep that stitch on the needle. So repeat steps 5 through 8 until you have 2 stitches left, 1 on each needle. Then we'll finish the last 2 stitches by repeating steps 5 through 7. Here's an example of this method on a stockinette stitch swatch. Did you know the Kitchener stitch is named after Lord Kitchener of Cartham, British military hero of the Boer War and World War I. He designed a sock using the stitch for the Red Cross. For more videos, visit www.newstitchaday.com.